Episode 65, a rundown of the week in Bitcoin.
Interested in Bitcoin?
Bitcoin is a very vague concept to a lot of people.
Need to know more about cryptocurrency?
We're going to talk about the basics. This is something that people just have no idea about what crypto is.
How about buying, selling, and mining?
Tony, I think that's one of the things that's going to make us a little different from some other shows.
We're getting our hands dirty.
Then listen to Gary Leland and Tony Sakala, better known as the Crypto Cousins, on the Crypto Cousins podcast. This week's price.
Price of Bitcoin, $6,544. That's up $129.28 for the last week, or 2% over the last 7 days. Howdy, howdy, howdy. Gary Leland here.
And this is Tony Sakala.
And Tony, I think this is the third week in a row Bitcoin's been up.
It feels that way.
Well, no, it has been that way.
It seems like it's been a little bumpy, a little sideways. Doesn't it like 7,000 a couple days ago? Didn't it go up and down?
Well, it might have gone up to 7,000, but since 7 days ago.
7 days ago.
Yeah, I'm not going against 3 days ago, so it might be down for 3 days ago, but it's down from 7 from our show last week.
We're measuring show to show, exactly, and we're excited about
that.
Yeah,
so, but I think we had a 3-week run up, and then a big drop, and then a 3-week run up. So we'll see if we have a big drop. But that's the way it went last time. I got real excited about 3 weeks, is that the drop, the whole bottom fell out of the thing. And I don't know if we're back up to where we were 6 weeks ago, to be honest with you, or 7 weeks ago.
Are you wearing your HODL America Great Again hat?
I am not wearing my HODL America Great Again hat. Yeah, that was nice of Ray Redacted. Well, Friday night, for those listening, we had our Cryptoversary. That was our first year anniversary, the Crypto Cousins Cryptoversary. And I think it was a great success.
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun to have a party outside like that. It was perfect weather. We're in Dallas, so outdoor event can be a little crazy because it gets so hot here, but it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a great day and a great night, and we had a great party. We had a lot of people attended, and Ray Redacted came, who's been on the show. He's our security expert, I guess, and you could call him. And
he spoke at BitBlock Boom.
Right. And what were the caps? Make crypto great again? Is that what the cap said?
It was HODL America Great Again.
Well, HODL America Great Again. So it's a takeoff of a MAGA cap.
A MAGA cap. And it was red. I got a lot of funny looks that night.
Oh, I bet you did, because people just saw it from the distance and thought it probably was a Make America Great Again cap instead of HODL. What is it? Was it HODL?
HODL America Great Again, yeah.
HODL America Great Again. I don't understand it now that I'm thinking about it. I thought it said Make HODL Great Again. It said HODL America Great Again.
America Great. Yeah, HODL America Great.
I don't
it's
get
like
it.
It's like HODL like as a verb. So it's like if you HODL, then America will be great again because we'll all have.
So if we're all HODLing, we can all HODL to make America great again.
Exactly.
Okay, I was not understanding it. Actually, I just put it on. I'd had a couple margaritas. They're known for their margaritas there.
Yes, it was a great night. I had brisket tacos. It was really fantastic night. And that place was hopping.
It was hopping. It was packed.
Yeah. It was a great choice. We had it at the Katy Trail Ice House.
And someone tried to steal our table. Or they did steal one of them.
They actually did steal one of them. They said they saw the signs that said table reserved, and they said, "We don't care. We want to get
ripped the
drunk."
signs off and sat down to start drinking. So luckily we had one table, and where we were at was a big area, so we didn't need another one. So that was pretty nice. So that was the Cryptoversary. So if you're listening a year from now, you'll want to come to our second Cryptoversary.
It was kind of a reunion for the North Texas Blockchain Association as well.
Yeah, we had quite a few people there from the North Texas.
We had quite a few representatives.
Also just make sure everybody knows BitBlock Boom is now taking, we say this every show, but in case you don't listen or you're new, BitBlock Boom is taking applications for speakers now at bitblockboom.com. Just go there and you can find it on the tab. Got a little homework here to do, a little store keeping up stuff. Got the conference, Future of Blockchain Conference. That's next week, Tony.
Time flies. Yes, it's coming up.
Yeah, so it's next weekend. And that's in Frisco, Texas at futureofblockchainconference.com. If you use the code IEEEE50, which I don't know what all those E's are about. What do you think the code is I with 4 E's and 50? That's a weird code. But if you use that code, you get 50% off.
It's the IEEE.
It's I quadruple E.
It's the international engineering consortium, but there is an extra E.
Well, I don't even see a C.
I mean, I called it consortium, but it is. What does it stand for?
Enterprise.
IEEE. It's something about engineers.
If you do I with 4 E's and 50, you get a 50% discount. And then we have the Texas Bitcoin Conference coming up October the 27th through the 28th. And if you use the code CryptoCousins, you get 15% off there. That's at TexasBitcoinConference.com. So that's kind of like our little work stuff we had to do there. So what do you think of this article about Bitcoin wallets? Active Bitcoin wallets are approaching a record high. Did you see that?
I saw that, and I heard that when you did your show. I think that's a really good sign. It shows that we're branching out. Our long tail is getting longer. Basically, it's not just a few guys who are, a few whales who are holding lots of Bitcoin.
Right. It's like 32% of the Bitcoin supply was in personal wallets that had some kind of activity in them since August the 31st, compared to 6% last year at the same time. So it's gone up amount. But I thought the thing that was really telling about this article was down at the bottom of it. It says, out of roughly 28.5 million Bitcoin wallets across the market, I didn't know there were 28.5 million Bitcoin wallets, first of all. That's a lot of Bitcoin wallets.
It's more Bitcoin wallets than Bitcoin.
Yeah, well, that's because, and that could possibly be if everybody had a Satoshi, there could be a gazillion. But I think it's because almost every time some wallets, every time you transfer Bitcoin, it gives you a new wallet address.
That's true.
So but the thing on this, he estimates only out of that 28.5 million, 150,000 of them have more than 10 Bitcoin in them. I thought that was the interesting comment.
That is, I looked at that too, and I was like, that's a really good observation, because that really is the long tail at work, or the power law. The power law says that as you have one person who is the number one leader in a network, the second leader in the network, the second most powerful person or most connected person, generally has about half of the connections, and then the number 10 has about a tenth of the connection, and et cetera, et cetera. And so a power law is in effect here.
Well, I've not heard of that term, power law.
Oh yeah, it's kind of it's part of the 80-20 rule. When they say the 80-20 rule, 80% of your income is from 20% of your clients, that sort of thing. That's the power law at work.
Well, I was not familiar with that power law. Well, a lot of times you'll hear people when they're like talking about the future and stuff in Bitcoin, like 20 years down the road or 30 years down the road, they're always talking about if you own a Bitcoin, you're going to be one of the few people who own a Bitcoin. You're going to be one of the 21 million people. But not many people are going to, percentage-wise, are going to own a whole Bitcoin. And as it is right now, not many people have more than 10 Bitcoin.
That's for sure.
So I wonder what that number was, how many wallets had more than 10 Bitcoins if you went like 5 years ago. I bet that wasn't very many at all. I bet the 150 is a lot compared to then.
Yeah, but we've seen a lot of growth. And back then, there were probably just a few people with tens of thousands of Bitcoin, like the guy who spent 10,000 Bitcoin on pizza.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it was really piled up. It wasn't 150. So the 150 that own 10 or more can be a lot, or it can not be that many wallets. I mean, it's according to how you look at it, I guess.
I mean, if you spend 10,000 Bitcoin on pizza, you probably had a couple 100,000, or at least 100,000. I would think you wouldn't spend 10% of your portfolio on 2 pizzas.
You might if you were getting it hands over fist and you didn't care because you didn't think it was worth anything. No telling what went in someone's mind and when it had no real value. Because that's the first purchase. He hadn't been able to do anything with it up till then. not like
Right,
I
he
can't
was
get rid
waiting.
of
He
this Bitcoin.
was-
It's worth a lot.
Yeah. It's not worth anything if I can't buy
Go out and
something.
get a
Let me
pizza.
buy some pizza.
Yeah, so I wish I knew how many of this 28.5 million Bitcoin wallets were. Not that it matters, I guess, since 150,000 of those hold 10 or more. That just seems to me, that means there's a buttload of people who have a little bit of Bitcoin and few people that have a lot of Bitcoin.
That's the power law in effect. Exactly.
Because 10's not that many, but I bet you if we went to over 50, I bet that, what do you think that number might be?
It would go even less. Well, if we use the power law, then probably 15,000 holds more than 100 Bitcoin, and only 100 or 1,500 would own more than 100 Bitcoin, and 150 people have more than whatever the next one is, 1,000.
Well, that's the power law. I'm gonna have to
That's the power law.
I'm not. That's like I said. I wasn't familiar with the power law. And then we have
fun. It's fun.
Well, it's an interesting. Is that kind of like Moore's law? It's always pretty much true.
It is a law. So yeah, it is always. It's more true than Moore's law. In fact, if you were looking on the truth scale, because you just look in nature and you find the power law. Like, and you look in networks. Ever since they've been building networks, or networks of people doing business together, the power law holds. It's basically also called like the winner take all kind of law. I mean, you think about Google, and then all the other search engines. I mean, Bing probably has about half of, and Yahoo probably has about, whatever, a tenth of or a third of what Bitcoin gets, of what Google gets in terms of traffic. So yeah, so the first guy wins, and then everybody else is like, and again, it's like the long tail. You've heard of the long tail.
Right. So next thing we have on our list is cyber criminals hit the port of San Diego with ransomware, and they demand Bitcoin. Now, I didn't bring this up because of the fact that it was San Diego or the port or anything, and I don't think it's affected it that much. So maybe it wasn't a very good job on shutting down the port, since they're pretty much still operating. But I thought it was interesting that this is still going on a lot. And you would think big companies like that would be securing their systems a little more, rather than having ransomware for anything, much less Bitcoin or cash or anything. I mean...
Well, that's the crazy thing. I mean, Ray Redacted would tell you, that there's cybersecurity problems everywhere, and it's because people they're just not aware of the dangers that having old systems running old software is. It's generally people not patching their software. So they have Microsoft, Windows 97, Windows NT. I mean, some of these old systems, they're running these old operating systems, and they're connected to the internet, and that's the end of it.
And I guess when they come out with a patch, that's kind of like announcing to the world, the software has a problem, and here's the problem.
You want to patch before the bad guy. Right?
Yeah, if you don't patch it, the bad guy goes, oh, there's a ton of computers running this software, and here's how you get in the back door. And they know how to get in if they could find someone running that software that didn't patch it, I guess. But they had called the Department of Homeland Security and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Why do you think they called the Department of Homeland Security on this? I understand why they call the FBI, because it's like kidnapping, kind of, holding hostage the site. Why would they call it the Department of Homeland Security?
I think they were just, desperate. They're like, hey, we don't know what we're doing here. We better get the big guns in. And those are the biggest guns I can think of.
And so then they also are communicating with the Coast Guard? I mean, we're kind of like threw that at the end there. Oh, yeah. And we got the Coast Guard out here, too. What are they doing? I mean, that the Homeland Security and the FBI can't already handle. I mean, unless they're making sure there's no ships or subs sneaking in or something. Since it's a port.
I guess, San Diego, maybe they're, who knows? I mean, maybe they're concerned, December 7th coming up, like Pearl Harbor or something. They think maybe they're going to get attacked at San Diego. I don't know. But it has not been smooth sailing for them.
Well, I see all the time that people are like jacking computers to mine crypto, and that's what the preferred method of extortion, I guess, is now. But I guess there's still people going the old school method of just people taking over people's computer systems and demanding Bitcoin.
I guess it's whatever's going to work for you. I guess if the port had an open The port had an open port. I get it. They had an open network port that wasn't secured.
That was kind of funny.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
Hopefully it's been fixed.
yeah, well, we'll see. Hopefully Google's on the right road for a change. They're like allowing people now to Google to reverse crypto ban for exchanges advertising. So last year, crypto was banned, advertising at crypto at Google along with everywhere else. And now Facebook has come back, and I think Twitter's come back, and now Google's coming back. But I thought this was weird because it looked like to me they were only going to allow you to advertise crypto if you were an exchange. Did you get that out of it, or?
Well, those bastards. I mean, it doesn't surprise me because basically, so now you've flattened the market. I mean, anybody who was struggling is out of business at this point in this bear market. And so now only if you're a registered crypto exchange can you advertise on the Google AdWords platform. You see where we're headed here. Have you registered yourself to work on the internet? I mean, that's where this privacy law in Europe has gone. It says, hey, you need to sign in, you need to register, you need to click here, click there. Pretty soon they're just going to need an ID card to use the internet. And so this is a specter of that. You have to register your crypto exchange in order to advertise. So
we could be going where you have to be a registered money supplier or money handler to be involved in crypto.
That would be a good way for the government to say, let's nail this last nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that Google's co-founder, it says, Sergey Brin, had announced he's an Ethereum miner.
Oh, yeah. It's no surprise to me.
Yeah, with all the
he
power.
and Vitalik probably go out for drinks all the time.
They probably using all those Google servers everywhere to mine crypto.
Exactly.
You know how many server power they must have? Oh, my gosh. Do you think that happens?
Probably not. There's a lot of checks and balances, I'm sure. I don't think you can like harness a I don't know, a couple servers for your own private. You get fired real fast.
Yeah, it's a big corporation. I guess that's like stealing corporate funds.
If you're already working at Google, you probably figured a way to do some mining on your own.
I guess if you're one of the founders of Google, you don't have to worry about sneaking some hash power out of a computer.
Right. No, Sergey doesn't need to do that.
Yeah, he can get all the computers he wants to. But like I said, I just thought it was weird that it was only for exchanges. You know, because on Facebook, when they released reversed their ban, we were able to get on there for the BitBlock Boom conference, but we had to be approved. But anybody could be approved if you were what I guess they saw as a non-thief type of person, I guess, someone who wasn't trying to take advantage of stuff. But like I said, from this article, It just looks like it's only cryptocurrency exchanges.
Mm-hmm. Well, anyway, I'm not a big fan.
Of what?
Google.
Oh, yeah, I know that. What's the browser that you're using? The Brave?
Brave. We're starting to use Brave, and we're looking at getting a better email account. A lot of crypto guys use proton.ch as their email.
With the we made some money off of Brave the other day. I think we made 50 cents.
52 cents.
And BAT. Basic attention
52
token.
Cents.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely worth payback on that is a good deal. Okay, I thought now you're going to like this article, I'm sure. The Kraken trolls the New York regulators and accuses the Office of the Attorney General of manipulating Bitcoin futures. Now, this would be right up your alley, I would think, here.
Yes, definitely is. Well, it's no surprise because what did our old good friend Ronnie Moas say a long time ago? There are a lot of bastards in New York and Chicago.
Right.
This is definitely what we're expecting. To manipulate Bitcoin, to manipulate any cryptocurrency is really easy. And, releasing that report just one day before the expiration of the options, all of it smells really bad to me.
Right. And I like how basically the Attorney General's office said that since Kraken had not responded, maybe there was something to look at there that they were guilty of, basically. And then Kraken asked them and said, well, basically, since the New York Office of the Attorney General hadn't responded, maybe there was something there to look at.
They're really poking back and forth, aren't they?
Yeah, putting the same thing on them. But, yeah, that was weird how they, Kraken is not even located in New York. doesn't do any business in New
Mhm.
York. They left New York, and then New York's demanding, oh, we need this information. And I thought it was also good. Kraken goes, we want to thank New York for releasing all this information on our competitors. We would never have been able to get that information without your help. Thanks for taking the taxpayers' money and delivering us this information. You think those other exchanges got kind of pissed that they released that information? Whatever it was. I mean,
I hope that they learn their lesson.
well, I think Kraken's the only people who said, I'm not sending you the information.
Exactly. Yeah. No, this is, they're overreaching their authority. They believe they can control everyone's money, even if they're not in their jurisdiction, like in the Matrix. What did he say? Something about my jurisdiction or something like that.
Well,
It's about your jurisdiction.
Well, if you're not in New York and you don't have any customers in New York, I guess they just block out all IP addresses from New York is all they do.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, unless you're like using some IP spoofer, which they can't control that, but I like what he said that the state was like an abusive, controlling ex for continuing to stalk the company, even though it left New York 3 years ago.
I like that a lot. That was my favorite line.
Yeah. I don't know. I would think New York, with this and things like this and their, what is that bit law they have? What is that?
The bit license.
The bit license. I'm really just surprised that anyone wants to start a crypto business in New York. I would think I'd just move to, if I want to be close to New York, I'd move to New Jersey. I would think that, for me, you're like 30 minutes away, right? An hour away.
Mm-hmm.
And for the savings on bookkeeping and meddling in your affairs, I would almost think it'd have to be worth it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but have you seen New Jersey?
No.
I'm just kidding.
I haven't been to New Jersey.
I mean, if you're going to move away, might as well move to the Cayman Islands or something.
But I'm just saying, you can still live in New York.
You
but
could still
just,
live in there.
You
That's
just
true.
drive 30 minutes away and go in a building. I mean, it's not like you're hanging out there. It's like I don't hang out in this part of town my office is in. I never go walking down the street over here. That's for sure. I drive 10 minutes away and it's okay. So that's what I'm saying. I just don't understand that BitPay. It seems like they're so controlling that no one. I'm surprised more people didn't do like Kraken and left, and I'm surprised more people aren't like Kraken and saying screw you.
Mm-hmm. Well, some people like to lick boots and suck up because they feel like the government's going to help them somehow.
Well, the Winklevoss brothers seem to have no problem with New York.
No, they're and Coinbase
even though they
doesn't
constantly
either.
get turned down for everything they want to do, just about
Mm-hmm.
by New York. I
Mhm.
mean, and they're like licking
Yeah.
New York's boots, announcing we're the first
Mm-hmm.
company to do this with the bit license, whatever this, or have that U.S. dollar.
Well, these guys,
Genesis
they're
dollar.
stable coin. They're just a stable coin, exactly. Well, some people didn't read Timothy May's Crypto Anarchists Manifesto. That they didn't realize that, hey, this is an opportunity to enhance freedom and liberty. They said, wait, this is a great opportunity to make money, and let's make more money no matter what it's called. Pesos, dollars, euros, Satoshis, they don't care. They're just going to start playing games and make new sort of, systems that they want to enrich themselves. And you can't fault people for wanting to enrich themselves.
No, I don't have a problem with that. And doing the stable coin, I mean, oh my gosh, everybody's doing a stable coin. I think Goldman Sachs announced yesterday they have a stable coin. I mean, so I guess that's great money. You're just making a percentage of let people exchange their money for your coin. I mean, it's all you're doing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is an interesting model.
Yeah, I think it's probably, and you're not an exchange either when you do that. So you're just getting a percent. The exchange has it's on your coin, and you're getting a percent every time someone puts their money in your stable coin.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. You want to keep people in your walled garden, Stay on Binance, stay in your system, whatever.
Well, like with a Gemini, you would, but with Goldman Sachs, they don't have an exchange. So they're just putting it on other exchanges, I would think. So they're just going, if we make 8% every time someone on a computer exchanges their dollars for Goldman Sachs dollars or the Bitcoin for Goldman Sachs dollars, we're not doing anything except making money.
They know how to do that well.
Yeah, they do know how to do that well. I was listening to a podcast the other day. That's what's going to be wrong with all these ETFs and stuff. Once you get these bastards in Chicago and New York in there, they will be more Bitcoin, paper Bitcoin, than there is real Bitcoin, like there is in the gold or bond markets. This lady was talking about how some bonds, there's more bonds of some of them owned than there is in print by the government, because these corporations, these bastards just make more of it, and they sell 1,000 even though they may have 500. Basically.
Exactly. It's a strange world, where this where it's possible to do that. I think someone else pointed out that the stock market is a big Ponzi scheme. That basically the stock market has, let's just say, it has $1 trillion worth of value. That it has $30 trillion worth of value, but really, if everyone tried to cash out, there wouldn't be enough money in the world.
That's what this lady I was talking about was saying. She said, if they do these ETFs, and then the bottom falls out of the market and everybody starts trying to pull their money out, because it ain't going to happen, because there won't be enough money in there. And she said that's the problem with ETFs, is they aren't going to say, oh, we've sold 1 million Bitcoins in our ETF invested-wise. We have 1 million people buying a Bitcoin, so we have 1 million. They'll sell 1 million even though they only have 100,000, Bitcoin in there. So there won't be a Bitcoin for every Bitcoin invested in the ETF.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now this last one, now I know this is your favorite company out of all the companies in America, Coinbase.
Coinbase?
Yes. And Coinbase launches a poor man's crypto index fund. I thought this was a pretty interesting article here, but they're going to allow you to buy at a minimum purchase a bundle, is what they're calling them, Coinbase bundles. And a bundle consists of Bitcoin, Bitcoin Cash, Ethereum, Litecoin, and Ethereum Classic, which are the 5 coins they sell. So instead of buying, I want to buy some Bitcoin, or I want to buy some Bcash or whatever, you can buy a bundle and have a little of each of it. And I guess it's kind of like a poor man's fund. For $25, you're in a fund.
I think they should make the logo for that like a hobo with like a bundle of clothes on his back, like that, like a bundle. And that would make the most sense to me.
Well, actually, I think this is a pretty good idea of theirs, to be honest with you. Not your idea, but their idea. I mean, I could see a lot of people wanting to get into the crypto market, and they go, I don't know this crypto good enough. I don't know what the difference between Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin is, but I know everybody's buying Bitcoin and it's going up, and everybody's buying crypto. Maybe I ought to just, instead of putting $100 into one coin, maybe I ought to spread it out. People like funds. Mutual funds and stuff do pretty good. I don't think anyone else is doing this. Am I wrong? Or is anyone else doing this that you know of?
I don't know of anyone else doing it, but it's just really great for Coinbase because
it is.
These people now have something it's non-liquid. What are you going to do with your index fund? You can't take it and transfer. Now you've bundled up your crypto in such a what's the word for it? Stupid way that you can't now just take it and send it off to somebody because it's locked in your Coinbase wallet.
Well, you can sell it. Vault. You can sell it, I guess, on Coinbase.
You can sell it to another poor chump on Coinbase.
You just sell it to Coinbase, I guess, buys it, and you get out of it.
Ponzi scheme.
Now, I tell you, here's the thing with it, though. I don't think that the bundle itself is as bad as you're putting it, to be honest with you. But I think the main question I have, let's say I put $10,000 into this bundle here, okay? So with $10,000, they break it down into proportions with the prices of the currency and stuff like that. I may have a whole Bitcoin at $10,000. Let's say if I did $20,000 worth of bundles. I'm bound to, with 5 coins, have 1 Bitcoin in there. I might have 1 of each coin, or something like that, or 1 1/4 of each coin. So when Bitcoin forks, do I get that fork? Or does Coinbase, since Coinbase is now holding, let's say 1 million Bitcoins for these people who have Coinbase bundles, because they're really just saying, this is your money and we're holding it for you. You don't own a Bitcoin. You own a bundle, right? Yeah, maybe there is a Bitcoin in your bundle, but you own a bundle. You didn't buy a Bitcoin.
You own a bundle.
And so,
exactly.
Bitcoin forks. There's 1 million of the Bitcoin. I don't know if I could come up with a new name for a Bitcoin fork. There's so many.
Goodness. Yeah, we've already went from gold and Bitcoin God and Bitcoin Diamond.
Sand
Bitcoin
comes up. Bitcoin Sand.
It's Bitcoin Sand. Yeah.
So Bitcoin Sand comes out, and I'm owed, because I've got a ton of Bitcoin bundles, I'm owed some Bitcoin Sand, but do I get the Bitcoin Sand, or is Coinbase going to keep the Bitcoin Sand? Because I technically just own a bundle. I don't own any Bitcoin. You know, it's backed by a Bitcoin and Litecoin and all this, but I don't own a Bitcoin. So, but they do have that money in their holdings, supposedly. So if they do,
once again, supposedly it's a derivative of what really is. And so now they're once again, just like the people on Wall Street, making up new monopoly money type things where the symbol is a bundle, a hobo holding his stick and a tattered rag with his stuff folded inside. And that's why it's the poor man's crypto index. So nobody's going to be buying more than $25 or $30. This is the kind of people who've come to our meetup and they said, please let me buy Electroneum. I heard Electroneum is really the next big thing.
Electroneum's been on a damn. I wish we had bought some of that Electroneum. Have you seen what that thing
is? Is it on a tear?
Oh man, on the last month, that thing's went on a tear. Every time I see that, I think of that guy we saw in Fort Worth that was getting all that, mining all that Electroneum for nothing. You know, if we'd have done that for a month or two, we'd have made a lot of money now. You know, that stuff's been on a tear. I don't know why.
Where did it go from like a tenth of a penny to a hundredth of a penny to a tenth of a penny? What is it now?
No, I think it's at like 2 cents or something, like a hundredth of a penny to 2 cents. I mean, that's wow. There's still only 2 cents.
You could retire on Electroneum.
Well, if you bought 10,000 Electroneum at a hundredth of a cent and at 2 cents, you'd have a nice little. You'd have a nice little bit of money there. Yeah, I mean, Electroneum's not worth anything.
Find some Electroneum.
Well, I'm not buying any now. We should have.
It's too late now.
Yeah, we should have bought it and sold it as soon as it moved up there. Or we should have mined it while that guy said the getting was good. But anyway, another thing that they're doing over at Coinbase is they're starting Coinbase Learn section. Did you see that?
Mm-hmm.
And it's where newbies can go and learn stuff because there is just such a shortage of educational information online.
Oh, that's for sure. Oh, yeah.
I mean, you can't find out anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
There aren't any
we
YouTube
need to
videos.
Call it Coinbase Indoctrination section, where you can learn that the most important thing you can do is take your Bitcoin and buy an index fund that has no value at all to you and does nothing to enhance your liberty.
They really... You're kind of right. They don't necessarily have to be holding that Bitcoin to sell you a bundle, do they?
It's a bundle. They just have to promise that when the bundle price goes up,
that your value goes up, and hope that not everybody gets out at one time. I think that's the biggest thing. Is you got to hope that everybody doesn't decide to liquidate at the same time. As long as that doesn't happen, and you have enough money on hand to handle it, I guess you're okay.
And yeah, I mean, it's just like anything, you know, the stock market in 1929. I mean, it was just like these people are selling things they don't have.
I don't really have a problem with the bundles or ETFs and things if people had to buy and hold one of each crypto that they're selling. Mm-hmm. And maybe they were making a percentage like a handling fee, you know what I mean, for supplying it and holding it and stuff like that. But I haven't seen any of them that really, with the exception of, and I'm going back to this, the Winklevoss brothers. They claim that they do have $1 in the bank account for every $1 of their stablecoin they sell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, stablecoins are required to have that liquidity.
Well, Tether hasn't been able to prove that to people's liking, and Tether is a stable coin that supposedly has that, but I don't think they've ever really shown proof that they have that.
No, I agree. They haven't looked inside the kimono.
So I wonder if the Winklevoss brothers will allow people to look inside the kimono.
Unlikely.
But I like this.
That's how this stuff works.
The Coinbase guy, Romero, went on to say, we expect that millions of people will make their first crypto purchase in the coming years. I think that's a good I think that's what we expect, but that's a good thing to hear. I mean, that if millions of people are going to be getting into crypto, I mean, that's got to be good for crypto as a whole.
But all too often, getting started can be overwhelming for people learning about crypto for the first time. Yes,
it can be. It actually can be.
Can be.
It can be.
I mean,
you're trying to figure out how to do this wallet. You don't know what difference between Bitcoin and Bitcoin. I think it can be. I mean, I think once you're in it for a while.
I agree. But I don't think your first stop should be a corporate entity that has been known to,
I think people
take its own interests at heart.
I think
you
people
should be
like
looking
to be
in
taken
the public domain.
I think people like to be taken care of, though.
That's true.
And not have to do things for themselves and be responsible.
Well, people trust. I agree. You trust public education to take care of your kids and teach them the right thing. And look what that's gotten us.
Well, my kids went to public education, and they did pretty good. I mean, my kids.
Well, maybe they went home and you helped.
They both got out of school in 4 years. I mean, they both got degrees. They're both successful. They both moved out of college. They never allowed to move back home. The day they graduated college, we told them, we're cutting you off. Tearing up your credit cards. You're not moving back home. We told them that from the time they were in 9th grade. When you get out of college, you're on your own. You might as well get ready because you ain't coming back here. And they did. Both of them moved out.
Well, they had some good upbringing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the problem is they think they can go back home, so why not?
Sure. There's a lot of failure to launch these days.
And when our kids graduated from college, they came home and, hey, we're home. We're going, where are the credit cards? We took their credit cards. Okay, you need to call your insurance company. You got to get car insurance. But both of them got jobs when they got out of school. They had jobs already. But they knew they had to, or they wouldn't have a place to live.
Exactly. That's smart. Well, just to swing back around to the beginning, the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers is what the IEEE stands for.
Oh, and that is just also to swing around to the front. That's the Future of Blockchain Conference, October 12th through the 13th in Frisco, Texas. And what does it again stand for?
Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers.
It's still got an extra E in there.
Formed a long time ago. You're going to have to try both.
Maybe it is I with 3 E's and 50. But I'd try I with 4 E's and 50 if you want the 50% discount. If that doesn't work, don't call us. Just try it with 3. And then try 2. Hell.
Exactly.
And then email them and say, I got a code that didn't work.
Exactly.
So I'm thinking about going down to the Bitcoin conference if I can find a place to stay. So if anyone is living in Austin that listens to this show and you have a spare bedroom, October 27th and 28th, let me know.
Texas Bitcoin Conference, couch surfing with Gary.
Hey, I like visiting with people when I go out of town. I think it's kind of neat to visit with other people.
It's kind of like it's kind of like a new age, Airbnb. You get to visit we can get to visit with our listeners.
Yeah, if they're into crypto, it'd be interesting to stay with them. If they weren't into crypto or anything I was into, they wouldn't be. But if they're listening to the Crypto Cousins.
LSD, that would be more interesting.
Well, that would be very interesting. They might think Timothy Leary's still around. I mean, they might go to the church he started. Who knows? That would be more interesting than if they were into Quaaludes and they were just sleeping all the time.
Right. Exactly.
So when it comes to drugs, we shouldn't make fun of drugs, but when it comes to them, they're way more interesting than people who take Quaaludes. Do they even have Quaaludes anymore? I don't know. When I was in high school, in the 70s, the kids took Quaaludes. And they did LSD, and they evidently still do LSD, but I don't know if the Quaaludes are. Since they were over the counter, maybe you can't get those. LSD was never over the counter. Well, it might have been over the counter in the 50s or something when it first started. Because heroin used to be sold in the Sears Roebuck catalog. Did you ever see that? Have you ever seen that in the set catalog?
I knew it wasn't illegal, but I didn't realize Sears
and Roebuck
catalog.
I saw a documentary on it, and you could order through. Remember when you see the olden days, and you live out in the town, and there's no store, and everybody buys everything from the Sears Roebuck catalog. In that catalog, you could buy it was like a little tin metal box that opened up, and inside of it was a syringe and doses of heroin, and you could buy that in the catalog. Yeah, so it was legal at one time. I guess their sales were brisk. Maybe that's why they're going out of business now. They don't have as good at selling products.
Wow.
Yeah, so I found that interesting that they sold it.
That is fascinating.
And that's way off
somebody
topic.
sat down. So, well, it kind of swings us back around, because, Ross Ulbricht is behind bars. He's in a cage because someone said that selling heroin is very illegal. And
well, he wasn't selling
he
heroin.
built a website.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And he built a website that just happened to take place.
I saw yesterday on the show I was watching. I can't remember what it was on. Oh, it was the Dollar Vigilante. Is that the guy's name?
Dollar Vigilante, yes.
I was watching. I don't know how I got on that last night on YouTube because I don't watch his show. But somehow or another, I saw. I guess he had a good image, and it attracted my attention. And he was talking about, and he was talking about stuff, and he said that Ross just had to ask to be put in solitary confinement because of, I guess, the abuse he was getting from other prisoners or something. But he asked to be put in solitary confinement, so that's not a good deal. Yeah. So I was sad. I was saddened to hear that. Oh well, I think we pretty much. This was kind of a different show we did today. We're trying a new system here. We talk about that stuff, but we had actual notes in here to read. Normally we talk about top of our head. So I thought I'd put shortened notes in here, the shortened versions I use for 4-Minute Crypto. These are the notes that I kind of read off of it, but I took out the things that weren't important to this show. So to shorten it some. So we're kind of like this.
We were organized today.
Yeah. So I thought maybe this would make it easier for us because we didn't have to go read at links all the other non-pertinent information that's in a post. So I hope everybody enjoyed it.
For all that hard work. Yes, I hope so too. Hope you enjoyed it, and we're looking forward to seeing you. Or Gary's looking forward to seeing you at the Future Blockchain Conference, and perhaps Texas Bitcoin Conference.
Yes, I'm not sure on that. Now I'm not sure on the Future Blockchain Conference. So, something might have come up, so I'm not even sure about that. I'm not sure about either one, but they're both good conferences, so you should attend whether or not. But I would like to go to Texas Blockchain Conference because I went last year and that was a good conference. But I'm not sure about that either. But be sure and subscribe to our show if you're not subscribed already, and give us a review. We'd appreciate a review. Appreciate a 5-star review, but I'll take any review. I don't care. You give me a 1-star review, I'll still take it. We got so many 5 stars, I don't think a 1-star hurt us that bad. Make sure and check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/CryptoCousins, and call us with questions at 747-777-9471, or you can email questions to the CryptoCousins@gmail.com. Anything you want to add before we get out of here, Tonio?
I'm looking forward to our next year anniversary. We had such a good time.
We did have a good time. And hopefully next year it'll be even bigger. We had a great time. Yeah, hopefully if we did that good of a party during a bear market, hopefully next year, this time it's a bull market, and then we can't even get everybody in there.
Well, I think that Texas, or Dallas for sure, is really growing, thanks to North Texas Blockchain Association. They have an event, like 16 events a month. They're really growing the interest and the community. So we met a lot of folks. Most of the folks were from NTBA, so we really appreciate the help that we got in getting the word out.
Definitely, for sure. Well, thanks everyone for listening. Love you.
Bye now.
Thanks for listening to the Crypto Cousins podcast. Please share this podcast with anyone you know that is interested in cryptocurrency. Your friends can subscribe on iTunes at cryptocousins.com/iTunes and on Android at cryptocousins.com/play. If you want to know more about Tony or Gary, just go to tonysakala.com or garyleland.com. Make sure and join us on the next episode, and thanks for listening. The Crypto Cousins podcast and information in the podcast are not intended as investment advice. Cryptocurrencies are risky. Never invest more than you can afford to lose. Always seek professional advice before making any investment. Investing in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies may present tremendous risks. Please understand that you are using any and all information available on or through the Crypto Cousins podcast at your own risk.